Hello, and welcome to the online portion of the annual registration process for registered student organizations. This is Module 1, Organizations 101, the basics.
The following is an overview of the registration process. You are on the first step to complete the online training and quizzes. After you complete all 3 modules, you can move on to RSVP to a training session on Gobbler Connect that will be held via Zoom. Once you RSVP, you will be contacted with the link to the Zoom session. Looking at the compliance training more closely, each module is composed of an online video and a quiz. In order to move from one module to the next, you are required to watch the video and complete the quiz and receive 100%. Before you move on to the next module, be sure that you complete both parts. After you complete Module 3, RSVP on Gobbler Connect to a session that will be hosted via Zoom. There will be no sessions offered past May 7th, so make sure you complete the training and RSVP as soon as possible.
In this module, I will cover the following policies. 1. Policy 8013 and Policy 810. These policies define a registered student organization at Virginia Tech and talk about the relationship between student organizations and the university. Policy 1025. Policy 1025 overviews behavioral expectations for student leaders and student organizations by defining anti-discrimination and harassment. The Hokie Handbook outlines a student conduct process for student organizations and defines what is classified as organizational conduct. The Good Standing Policy. A Good Standing Policy was created by Student Engagement and Campus Life to help actualize the Virginia Tech policies. By the end of the module, you will have 1. Define the relationship between your student organization and Virginia Tech. 2. Review the requirements and expectations for registered student organizations. 3. Outline the official accountability measurements in place for your organization. First, we are going to define registered student organizations. There are 4 types of student organizations at Virginia Tech that the university recognizes. 1. Registered student organizations, referred to as RSOs. RSOs are the general classification for student organizations. These organizations include the majority of social and professional development organizations. 2. University chartered student organizations, referred to as UCSOs. 3. University Student Life Program, referred to as USLPs. Lastly, Extended Campus Student Organizations, referred to as ECSOs. ECSOs are organizations located at one of Virginia Tech's extended campuses. You are taking this training because your organization is classified as an RSO. The policies and expectations we are going to discuss are specific to RSOs. Per Policy 8013 and Policy 8010, Virginia Tech defines student organizations as a voluntary association of Virginia Tech students that has no direct relationship to the university, but upon completion of registration documents is entitled to certain privileges to include operating, meeting, advertising, and participating in activities on Virginia Tech campus. Within this definition, it is important to note that your organization does not have direct relationship to the university. The university does not take ownership of the organization, and when acting as an organization, you are acting voluntarily. This means your organization and your leader are not official agents of the university and cannot present yourself as such, including when entering legal agreements. This definition also states that you need to complete registration documents. Through student engagement and campus life, these documents include the completion of the registration process in its entirety, and you have already started working on that. As an RSO, there are certain privileges you have access to, including Student Budget Board, the source, event services, and others. These privileges will be discussed in more detail during the in-person training session. To further articulate the definition of student organization, Student Engagement and Campus Life further defines a student organization as a group created by and for currently enrolled students that gathers with a specific purpose that contributes to the Virginia Tech community and provides opportunities for students in an ongoing way that is not currently present at Virginia Tech. Throughout the year, your organization should create opportunities for members and other Virginia Tech students to participate in that are specifically related to your organization. These opportunities should relate to your unique purpose and benefit the Virginia Tech community. Your organization is allowed to set membership requirements it deems appropriate. For example, as an academic organization, you may have a GPA requirement for members. However, per Policy 1025, the organization cannot discriminate based on age, color, disability, gender, gender identity, gender expression, national origin, political affiliation, race, religion, sexual orientation, and veteran status. If you have more specific questions about what this looks like for your organization, please contact the source to be connected with a member of our team. The source's contact information is listed on this slide and will be at the end of the presentation. Apart from the discussed requirements of an organization, your organization is not required to maintain any of the following practices. While not required, student engagement highly encourages you to implement the following practices. 1. Identify a faculty or staff advisor for the organization. Having an advisor helps with the longevity and organization because while students rotate in every few years, it is likely the faculty or staff advisor will be at the institution for longer. 2. Create a constitution or create bylaws as governing documents for the organizations. Similar to an advisor, governing documents create long-term structure for the organization. By developing governing documents, you are able to leave a lasting impact on the function of the organization. Furthermore, these documents are helpful in handling conflict between members and creating structures of accountability. 3. Lastly, student engagement in campus life encourages you to create a structure for officer transitions. Holding officer transitions in early spring will help ensure new officers are able to attend annual registration and receive all this information. It is also a good idea to compile transition binders for incoming executive members. Compiling documents, social media passwords and usernames, and other important information helps ensure the next officer has all the information they need to succeed. If you are interested in establishing any of these practices for your organization, please contact the source or submit a student organization consultation request on Galver Connect. Student engagement in campus life has resources to aid you in the process. Virginia Tech and student engagement in campus life has expectations for RSOs, so it is important to understand how you are held accountable for these expectations. There are 3 main ways you are held accountable for following policies and meeting expectations. 1. Health checks. 2. Student conduct process. 3. Student organization roster audit. The first measure is health checks. Health checks are informal conversation with student engagement and campus life staff member to discuss your organization. With over 800 organizations on campus, it is hard to get to know all the great things people are doing, and health check creates a space to do so. During and after the meeting, you will be connected to resources the staff member feels will benefit your organization. While most health checks are completed at random, some organizations may be contacted based on a referral or observed violation of other policies. If this happens, the health check will be used to address the concerns as well as connect you with resources. There are 3 steps to the health check process. First, your organization is contacted by SECL to complete pre-health check survey. The survey asks general questions about the functioning of your organization. The second step is to have an in-person meeting with a staff member. Lastly, you complete the post-health check exit survey. Once step 3 is complete, your organization is marked as in compliance with the health check. The second accountability measure is the student conduct process, specifically organizational conduct. Student organizations are held accountable to the policies in the Hokie Handbook just like an individual is. During the student conduct process, if a student organization is found responsible for violating a policy in the Hokie Handbook, the student will be assigned a status sanction and educational activities. For example, if a student organization is found responsible for violating the underage alcohol and beverage policy, the organization may be assigned the status sanction of probation. Within the status sanction, the student organization may lose privileges for a certain amount of time, including the ability to request funding and reserve campus spaces. Simultaneously, the organization will receive educational sanctions, encouraging student leaders and the organization to reflect and learn from the incident. An example of an educational sanction includes completing an alcohol education program. Both education and status sanctions are incident-specific. For more information, familiarize yourself with the policies and procedures outlined in the Hokie Handbook. Not all conduct violations are classified as organizational conduct cases. If it is classified as an organization activity, the organization itself may be disciplined. This does not mean individuals cannot simultaneously be held responsible for violations of policy. For example, if an organization hosts a party off campus and there's underage drinking, not only can the organization be sanctioned for the alcohol and beverage policy violation, but the individuals drinking underage or who provided alcohol to minors may be responsible for a policy violation. The criteria for classifying possible policy violation as organization activity are the following. The advisor or any executive officer of the organization is aware of the incident sufficiently in advance of its occurrence to prohibit its taking place and takes no action to prohibit it. The advisor or any executive officer of the organization knows the identity of the members involved in the incident and refuses to divulge that information to the appropriate university authorities or the police. The incident takes place in any public area within a chapter house or in any public place. The incident involves the expenditure of any organizational funds. The incident involves or is actively or passively endorsed by a majority of the members of the organization. The incident involves 6 or more members of the organization. Only 2 of the following criteria need to be present to qualify the action of organizational conduct. Hokies do not haze. Hazing is both a violation of the Hokie Handbook and a criminal offense in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Hazing is unacceptable and is not tolerated by the university. The Hokie Handbook defines hazing as the following: any mental or physical requirement, request, or obligation placed upon any person that could cause discomfort, pain, fright, disgrace, or injury. That is personally degrading or that violates any federal, state, or local statute or university policy, the willingness of an individual to participate in such activity notwithstanding. Some examples of hazing activities include sleep deprivation, organizational traditions, forced eating, acts of exertion, isolation from the group, acts of servitude, forced consumption of alcohol. Again, any act of hazing, no matter how small, is prohibited by the Hokie Handbook and is a criminal offense in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We encourage you to report any potential hazing to the Student Conduct Office through this hazing reporting form. If an individual is in immediate danger or needs medical attention, call VT Police or 911. As a student leader, you are responsible for the actions of your organization. You have a responsibility to consider what type of actions and culture is acceptable among members. If you have more questions about hazing, please contact the Student Conduct Office. Their contact information is listed at the end of this module. The last accountability measure is a student organization roster audit. A roster audit is used to ensure all Gobbler Connect rosters are accurate and up to date with accurate member contact information. All organizations will be audited for roster compliance at the beginning of both the fall and spring semester to guarantee compliance with membership requirements. There are at least 5 members listed. There is a president, primary contact, treasurer, and at least 2 authorized contacts. Organizations out of compliance have a 2-week correction period to update the roster. If the organization does not correct the roster, the organization will lose recognition until the changes are complete. This concludes Module 1. Key takeaways from this module include registered student organizations do not have direct relationship to Virginia Tech. Organizations should be offering opportunities to members in ongoing ways. Organizations are required to maintain an up-to-date roster on Gobbler Connect. Organizations are held responsible to the Hokie Handbook just like individual students are. If you have any questions about what it means to be an organization, please contact the source. If you have more specific questions about hazing or organizational conduct, please contact the Student Conduct Office. Before moving on to Module 2, Campus Facilities and Activities, you are required to take the Module 1 quiz and receive a 100%.